I'd like to call this meeting of the City Council, City of Elkhorn to order. It's December 1st, 2025 at 5:30. Will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Flag of the United States, republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible. Roll call, please.
Tim Schroeder,
Here.
Peter Harvey,
Here.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Here.
Ron Dunwoody,
Here.
Scott McClory,
Here.
Ken Minell,
Here.
Dan Roberts.
Here. Thank you. Next, we've got public comment. Is there anyone here that would like to be heard tonight? Okay, I've got a little statement to read here, and then I'll have you come up to the podium and state your name and address. Sure. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes each. The public may speak on any item of city concern, whether or not the topic is included on this agenda. However, the topic does not pertain to an item listed on the council agenda. The council is not permitted to address or discuss the matter during this meeting. Under open meeting laws, the council must notice an item on the agenda to allow discussion on that matter. If the council is not permitted to discuss your concerns, your comments will be considered and may be placed on a future agenda for further discussion. You're up.
I'll be very brief. My name is John Perryman. I live in Williams Bay at 391 Hawthorne Street. I'm just letting you know I'm going to be running for state assembly against Tyler August next year. So I'm going to be reaching out to you individually. I just wanted to give you a face to attach with the name. So I want to hear about your concerns, what the state's doing well, what the state's doing poorly. And I just want to let you know who I am and what you'll be hearing from me. Thank you very much.
You bet. Thank you.
Yep.
Would anyone else like to be heard? Seeing no one, we'll close public comment. Next, we've got a consent agenda. Looks like 5 items: council meeting minutes of November 17th, 2025, resolution 2025-30, a resolution authorizing the construction of bicycle and pedestrian facilities as part of the East Centralia Street Reconstruction Project Phase 2 from Lincoln Street to County Truck H. The purchase of 200 residential water meters for $39,000 using available funds in the water fund budget. Purchase of 5 Metronet chlorine analyzers, maintenance products, and maintenance calibration services for $23,634.17 using available funds in the water fund budget. And finally, an EMS mutual aid agreement between the town of Delavan and the city of Elkhorn for 2026. Would anyone like to separate anything out of this?
I do have a question when it comes.
Okay.
So on this resolution for bicycle lane and sidewalk, didn't we do that?
Yes, we did do that. This is a requirement for the grant dollars that we received.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second. Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
I'm sorry, it gets really tricky on this side. Who's second? Dan, okay. Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Dan Roberts,
Yes.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Ken Minell.
Yes.
The consent agenda passes. Next, we've got the report of city officers. For the mayor's report, I'd just like to say all the feedback I got on snow removal was wonderful. You guys did a really great job, Matt. The city was clear on Monday morning, basically. So, and then I would like to acknowledge that I got a letter of retirement from Police Chief Christensen. His last day of work will be January 17, 2026. I believe the letter said 38 years, 24 as chief. That's quite an accomplishment. Congratulations. What a career.
Yep.
And that's all I've got. City Administrator.
Yeah, and the PFC is working on process for replacing Chief Christensen. So I know they're been working on that. Obviously, you guys updated the job description last time. So, but yeah, that process is ongoing. I just wanted to mention that the Planning Commission at the last meeting did get a concept plan presentation from U.S. Shelter Homes for potentially 43 new single-family homes on West Market Street. So they'll be coming and doing concept plan presentation for the council at the next meeting on December 15th. Just a reminder, Christmas parade this Saturday at 1:30. Hopefully I'm not stealing Chris's thunder here, but so for those council members that are participating, if you have any questions, please reach out to Matt. He's coordinating the transportation. So, and then I'll be doing a presentation of the Rotary Club next week, just giving them an update on what's been going on at the city. And just want to thank our treasurer and his family for decorating the tree that you see over there outside in the lobby. And I also do want to commend the mayor, as the mayor said, Public Works for doing a really great job on the streets. Nothing but positive praise. So really well done to them. So that's it for me, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Next, we've got a presentation from Ben Rohr from Vanderwall and Associates about the Comprehensive Outdoor Recreation Plan. Thank you, Ben. You're up.
Okay. Well, thank you all. Appreciate it. Appreciate the opportunity to speak with you all this evening. This is the culmination of the project up to this point. We've done a lot of information gathering, development of the plan, and worked through a variety of different committees to hopefully today seek a approval of adoption of this document from you all. So a little bit about the timeline, how we got here. We kicked off the project last spring, held a variety of kickoff meetings, excuse me, including focus groups, stakeholder interviews, and an online community survey. Took all of that information and completed a draft update of the Comprehensive Outdoor Recreation Plan, which was last completed in 2020. From there, we worked through the review period. This included the Parks and Recreation Committee, public review that I'll get into a little bit further, in addition to a recommendation from the Parks and Recreation Commission in October and from the Plan Commission in November. Today, sort of the culmination of the process in the adoption by the council. In respect to, excuse me, in respect to the public input process, we held a wide variety of public input opportunities throughout this process, which is a significant change from what we were able to do in 2020 during COVID. So we're all really proud of this effort. We were able to gather a lot of different input, whether it was in person or online, and in totality, heard from 900 different community members in terms of providing comments that were collected throughout this process that help inform and revise the plan as we moved through the process. And we're really happy for that because we think this plan is now more reflective of the community's comments, concerns, issues, and opportunities because of this. If you've had a chance to look at the document, what we've done is separate out the background information, data, all of the public input that we gathered, and some of that other context information into an appendix. This information is important, but not what really people care about for the most part in general. So what we've done is aim to streamline the document, make it more user-friendly, 7 chapters, about 50 pages, trying to make it more digestible for the average person to utilize this type of document. So I'm going to walk through each of the chapters, just briefly hit some highlights for you. Chapter 2 includes the public input and the process. This was fully updated based off of what I just showed in the previous slides. In addition to Chapter 3, an update of the goals and strategies based off of what we heard from the public. Chapter 4, we spend a good amount of time fully updating all of the new data and analysis, and I'll walk through some of those at a high level here in the next couple of slides. So at the top of the screen, you see the table that's in blue. These are the categorization or the types of parks that we have in the community. These are fairly typical that you'll find across many communities. A neighborhood park is smaller, serves the neighborhood area. Community parks are larger. They offer a larger amount of amenities, something akin to Sunset Park, obviously. Then there's special use facilities that only have a singular use to them. And then multi-use trail corridors, pretty self-explanatory there. What we do is analyze and look at, based off of each of those different categories, what does Elkhorn's park system look like? There are 12 total parks within the system. That equates to almost 192 total acres. And then what we look at in park planning purposes is total acres per 1,000 residents. And this is a metric or a ratio that allows us to look across different municipalities and compare and contrast to see where we're at in relationship to the level of service being provided by the community. Right now, if you look at, excuse me again, if you look at the total of all acres within the community's park system per 1,000 residents, we're at almost 19, which is a pretty strong metric. Look at it a little bit further in comparison to some comparable communities, you can see, and we looked at some similar population size to Elkhorn in terms of the number of parks, a little bit lower in terms of Elkhorn's total number of parks compared to these other communities. However, when you look at the total acreage and that ratio, you can see much more in line with those other communities. Additionally, I wanted to note at the bottom is the average, the national average for communities of less than 20,000. As you can see, the city of Elkhorn exceeds both of those two metrics in comparison to averages across the national level. And then if you look at every park system across the United States, the average is about 10.2 acres per 1,000 residents. Again, the city is exceeding that total. So you're doing well in comparison to these other metrics or benchmarks. Now, this is just one way to look at the park system, but we want to do that so we can look and at least have a reference to know where the city is in relationship to both comparable communities and national averages. On the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see map 1. That's just the recreational facilities identified both at the city level that was analyzed through this process, but also those owned by Walworth County and the school district. On the right-hand side of the screen, map 2, this is a service area analysis map. So what we did is attempt to look at where the different parks serve different geographical footprints within this community. And what we see is the vast majority of the city is covered in green, meaning that it is covered by a service area. There are some gaps, and we'll talk about that a little bit further when we look at the potential future park map. Now, when we're planning for the future, this document projects what we may need in terms of total new acres in the future. What we do is we look at population projections out to the next decade and 2 decades. Then we look at what level of service standard are we trying to provide moving forward over that time period. Now, as you can see, that acres per 1,000 residents number is a little bit different than when we just talked about that. For this analysis, we only looked at neighborhood and community parks. We didn't look at the other parks. In terms of that standard, the city is providing 13 total acres per 1,000 residents of neighborhood and community park space. If we maintain that level of service standard moving forward, our population increases based off of those projections. We're going to need 13 new acres over the next decade and 29 new acres over the next 2 decades. Now, this isn't saying that the city needs to go out and acquire this land tomorrow. It's not even saying that in the next 5 years it has to happen. It's just a benchmark and a goal for the future. Basically, what it's saying is as the community grows and we expand our footprint with the amount of population, we would like to maintain a level of service standard similar to today and provide residents with park and recreational spaces meeting that level of service standard. The meat of the document is really in chapter 5, 6, and 7. This is your recommendations, estimated costs, and implementation. In terms of big picture recommendations, we identified strategic improvements to each individual park. As funding permits, we would anticipate that this portion of the plan gets implemented. intentionally with this plan, we oversubscribe to the amount of potential future projects that could be undertaken, recognizing that over the next 5 years, it's not possible to do all of those projects. However, if it's not listed within this document, it is not grant eligible through the DNR stewardship grants that run on an annual cycle. So intentionally, what we do is we try to look a little bit forward and say what could potentially be out there in the future. If it's listed in this document, at least it opens the door for a potential future grant opportunity. Mentioned all that public input. Some of the top things that landed in terms of prioritization from that input were things like a splash pad, multi-use sports courts, disc golf, skate park, the band shell that's obviously underway, and then turf and/or lighted fields. There's also a recommendation to implement the park master plan associated with the new park space that's recently been acquired by the city. Additionally, staff and myself had several conversations about Sunset Park, how that park could potentially be reconfigured in some ways to be more efficiently used in terms of the space and provide more opportunities. What I would suggest is if you do undertake those reconfiguration plans, that you first do what's called a park master plan, where you really dive into the details and figure out what's possible, what makes the most sense before making any of those changes. Throughout the project, what we heard consistently, very strongly, was expanding and connecting the trail, bicycle, and pedestrian system. Obviously, I saw it as an agenda item earlier in today's meeting. It is a prioritization of the community already, but that was reiterated through this process. We understand additionally that the community only has so many funds to make this plan possible. Other communities utilize a volunteer group system called friends groups that are typically associated with either a singular park or the entirety of the park system. What these groups help do is put volunteer hours towards maintenance of the parks and or fundraising associated with particular projects. And this could be a way that the city invests in building community momentum around some of the projects that are listed within this document. And then finally, ADA improvements. Some of those have been undertaken in the past recent years. As facility upgrades are made, we would encourage that continuation of doing those types of improvements each time there is a possibility. So as I mentioned this before, overarching plan goal, as the community grows, the parks and trail system would also grow. So what you see on the screen, map 3, we've identified 15 potential new park site locations. Now, this plan is by no way saying over the next 5, 10, or even 15, 20 years that all of these parks will come into the city system. What it is trying to recognize, though, is these growth areas identified on the comprehensive plan that are shown in that like faint tan color. We are associated with, if those areas develop, we would like to see new park and open space be incorporated with some of those development areas. That's an overarching goal of this document as it's reflected. Additionally, trail connections, like I just mentioned, prioritization, trying to build a greater trail network and on-street network are both opportunities that have been identified on this map. And then finally, if it presents itself over the next 5 years or beyond, what we did is we built a parkland evaluation tool that basically allows you to score different pieces of property that are proposed to be parks and basically look at how well does that property align with the plan that we have adopted. And so it's just one additional tool to say, all right, developer is proposing this new subdivision. They're proposing a park in this location. Let's score it via this tool to see if it really fits with our park plan. Finally, there's implementation. We all know that costs have increased dramatically since 2020, in particular related to infrastructure. And so what we did is we identified the costs of what new projects would take to undertake, I should say, within the document. But we also did an analysis that looked at parkland dedication and park impact fees and said, well, if we wanted to implement this plan, what would that look like, or what would that take in terms of modifying the existing standards that are in the municipal code. And from the parkland dedication and fee in lieu of parkland dedication, pretty much spot on, I would say, in respect to the analysis. The big change is the park impact fee. And the park impact fee, what that does is it gives money to the community from those new dwelling units to actually develop the land into a park. And this is where the exorbitant costs come into play and are reflected in this number. Now, overall, what I want to say is this plan does not change the existing ordinance in no way. All it does is it provides the analysis and the methodology behind how they could be changed in the future if this body so chose to do that. And so this is a complete policy decision that's separate from this plan. All this plan does is analyze that and provide you with some insight, in particular related to the astronomical changes associated with the cost of implementing some of these different projects within different parks. Finally, there's action items. There are a variety of different action items at different time scales. Like I mentioned at the beginning, this plan is updated every 5 years to maintain eligibility for grant dollars from the state and federal government. So the action plan is oriented in that 5-year time frame, and the plan would need to be updated 5 years from adoption, hopefully this evening. So with that said, I know I covered a lot of ground relatively quickly. Hopefully you've had a chance to look at the document, page through it a little bit and get an understanding for it. Opportunity to answer any questions right now. And then I see that the action item for adoption is later on the agenda as well. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions?
I do just have one comment just for council to be aware. We don't have any park impact fees as the city of Elkhorn right now. So we don't have any fee associated with new development. So the number that Ben was talking about is that if that's something that council would want to consider. But again, this plan does not change those fees.
Okay, thank you, Carl. No questions at this time? All right, thank you, Ben. I think we're good. Moving on to new business. The first item is a discussion of possible decision regarding resolution 2025-31, a resolution for adoption of the City of Elkhorn 2025 Comprehensive Outdoor Recreational Plan.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The plan is passed. Next, we've got discussion of possible decision regarding proposed resolution 2025-32, a resolution providing for the sale of approximately 2,535,000 waterworks and electric system revenue bonds, series 2025D. Here, you're up.
Son. Excuse me. Good evening, everybody. Joe Murray from Ellers, proud to be the city's financial advisor. This evening, you're considering trying to finance your upcoming water utility projects. To do so, is proposing to issue $2,535,000 of waterworks and electric system revenue bonds. These are for $2.3 million of waterwork projects. There's no electric projects in there. You are hoping to pay for these with your water system revenues, but the pledge for the investors is your water and electric combined revenues. It's the way the city has sold all of its water revenue debt since it's been here. So this is not anything new. They've always been water and electric revenue bonds. These will be 20-year bonds. As part of the process, we'll go through a rating call scheduled for this week. Right now, the city's water and electric bonds are rated AA3, which is a very good rating. I expect that'll be able to hold the same when we go through the process coming up this week. The structure is calling for level debt service at roughly $185,000 a year, running from 2026 through 2045. As part of a revenue bond, there is something that's called the additional bond test, which for investors, you need to show that your revenues, net revenues from the system are at least 125% of the maximum annual debt service. That's called a 125 coverage. Based on your 2024 net revenues and the proposed schedule, we're projecting that you're going to have coverage of 2.41 times coverage. So it'll be more than almost double what you need to. So that's in good standing. Based on that and the rating, we do expect, projecting a true interest cost of 4.25% on the notes. One of the risks that I want to make sure everybody understands is that you are pledging to pay for the debt service on this from your water and electric system revenues. If for whatever reason those revenues were to fall short at any year, I would always recommend that you pay your debt payments as opposed to defaulting. If you were falling short, you could levy for them outside of levy limits. It's one of the exceptions under levy limits that you can do if you had to. It's not recommended you do unless it's an absolute emergency. But I just want to make sure you understand that that is an option out there as an additional security. The plan will be to keep moving forward with the process, the rating call and due diligence call this week, and be back in front of you in 2 weeks for the sale. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
No questions. Yes, thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Second. We've got a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Gary Peason Jr.,
Yes.
Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Ken Minot,
Yes.
Dan Roberts,
Yes. Motion passes. Next, we've got discussion and possible decision regarding proposed resolution 2025-33, a resolution establishing wages for part-time, limited term and seasonal employees for 2026 and providing uniform allowance for certain general full-time employees in 2026. Everybody see this in the packet? Any questions?
I make a motion to approve.
Got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Gary Peason Jr.,
Yes.
Ken Minot,
Yes.
Dan Roberts,
Yes. Motion passes. Next, we've got discussion and possible decision regarding proposed resolution 2025-34, a resolution establishing fees for the mobile food vendor permits for the city of Elkhorn.
I make a motion to approve. Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we've got discussion and possible decision regarding resolution 2025-35, a resolution increasing residential garbage recycling and yard waste collection fee by 3% in 2026.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
No, just to note that we are under contract and this is part of the contract.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Dan Roberts,
Yes.
Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Gary Peason Jr.,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Ken Minot,
Yes.
Motion passes. We've got discussion and possible decision regarding resolution 2025-36, a resolution increasing sanitary sewer service fees in 2026.
I'll make a motion to approve that. I'll second.
We've got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just that we did come up with the best possible solution to minimize the impact for 2026 for all the people. Just want that on record.
Okay, thank you, Mary. Roll call, please.
Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Gary Peason Jr.,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Dan Roberts,
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Next, we've got discussion and possible decision regarding proposed resolution 2025-37, a resolution removing parcels from the tax incremental district number 5. Want to give us a little explanation here, Adam?
Yeah, Mayor. So we unfortunately received notification from the DOR recently that because of the, new assessment data that obviously was released over the course of 25, that when we did the calculations for how much when we created the new TID District 5 early in the year, you can't have more than 12% of your equalized value in that TID. So when the new valuations came out, they were higher than expected in that TID area. And so we exceeded the 12% limit. It's basically a blessing in disguise because we can administratively, without having to amend the project plan, can take out the parcels we need to in order to get under that limit. But they also will allow us to take additional parcels out as well. So and enable, and looking at it again and looking at the wetland impact, we have more ability to take out more acreage than we originally anticipated. So the proposal, if you look at the resolution, would take out all the parcels that were east of Wisconsin Street. So that actually helps, the city financially because now we have fewer parcels in the TID. So any increased values and taxes generated from those properties in the future would go to the city and wouldn't get funneled into the TID. So it actually is a good thing that this came up. So that's what this resolution is about. The plan is to try to call a quick JRB meeting the next week or two, just so the JRB is aware of it, just as to make sure we're all on the same page. But that's what this is about. So this doesn't in any way impact either Sugar Creek Ridge or West Market Street in terms of a future project there.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion, questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we've got discussion and possible decision regarding proposed Kapoor Engineering Services contract, extending services beyond 2025 with options for a 3-year or 5-year term. Who's got?
I'll just start by saying, it's hard to believe, but it's been 3 years since the last time that we renewed our general engineering services contract with Kapoor. So I contacted Mike and asked him to prepare a couple of agreements, one for a 3-year and one for a 5-year, and they're both within the packet. The cover letter that Mike submitted with the different agreements shows a 3% annual increase for the first 3 years, and then a freeze in the 4th year, and then a 5% in the 5th year for the 5-year agreement. And then the 3-year agreement includes a set 3% annual increase per year. So that's the basic difference between the two contracts.
We'd be saving 1% by going with a 5-year plan.
Correct. Yeah.
So I make a motion to approve at the 5-year.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion, any questions? Do you have something? Ed?
The only thing I'll just say is under the contract, it does still allows the city to terminate if we needed to. So just as an FYI, you're not technically locked in for the full 5 years. So just as an FYI.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Dan Roberts,
Yes. Motion passes. Then we've got a discussion and possible decision regarding execution of the first revision state municipal financial agreement for the state-let highway project along North Wisconsin from North Lincoln Street to US 12.
I could take
Go
this
ahead.
one. I put together a memo that's in the packet. I actually got it pulled up right now. This is a project that, or an agreement that was originally executed in 2023, so it's been a couple of years. I have been working closely with DOT to incorporate work that I think would behoove us to do that. On West Market Street, we had a build project a couple of years ago. So this basically would allow us to fill in the gap between Wisconsin Street and where we left off on Market Street. It would also include adding black signals, colored signals for the downtown area, which I think would be a benefit as well. So the total cost would be $140,000. So I don't think actually, I take that back. The total increase would be $73,530 from the original agreement. These projects are slated for 2030 to 2031, so it's a couple years out. So when we get closer to those timeframes, I'll just have to make sure that we incorporate that into our CIP. It should be embedded in there as estimates, but I'll make sure that it's refined to reflect these numbers as we get further along with the projects.
But no out of pocket right now. It's down the road.
Down the road, yeah.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Gary Peason Jr.,
Yes.
Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Dan Roberts,
Yes. Motion passes. Next, we're going to adjourn into closed session. The common council may entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin's statute section 19.851G, conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved. The first item is regarding notice of claim from Walworth County for damage to Lakeland School out on County Highway NN. Second item is a discussion regarding the town of Lafayette's objection to paying for a fire engine pumper and fire command vehicle. And lastly, a discussion regarding proposed engagement agreement with Axley LLP for representation in a possible appeal of the Wisconsin Office of Commissioner of Railroads, case number 9170RX424.
I'll make a motion. Second.
Got a motion and a second to go into closed session. Roll call, please.
Gary Peason Jr.,
Yes.
Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Dan Roberts,
Yes.
We will be reconvening into open session after the closed session. We've reconvened to open session. There's no action on any of the three closed session items. Next, we've got unfinished business, a discussion and possible decision regarding the proposed 2026 to 2030 capital improvement plan.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. We got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Gary Peason Jr.,
Yes.
Peter Harvey, Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Dan Roberts,
Yes.
Motion passes. And lastly, we've got discussion and possible decision regarding the proposed resolution 2025-29, a resolution approving the 2026 municipal budget and levy for taxes payable in
Make a motion to
2026.
approve.
Second. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Gary Peason Jr.,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Dan Roberts,
Yes.
Okay, the budget's approved. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.